The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Glory to you, O Lord. A leper came to Jesus and kneeling down begged him and said, "If you wish, you can make me clean." Moved with pity, he stretched out his hand, touched him, and said to him, "I do will it. Be made clean." The leprosy left him immediately, and he was made clean. Then, warning him sternly, he dismissed him at once. He said to him, "See that you tell no one anything, but go, show yourself to the priest, and offer for your cleansing what Moses prescribed. That will be proof for them." The man went away and began to publicize the whole matter. He spread the report abroad, so that it was impossible for Jesus to enter a town openly. He remained outside in deserted places, and people kept coming to him from everywhere. The Gospel of the Lord. Don't know, maybe I'm just feeling emotional today, but these readings really strike to the heart. You know, if we allow them to, they really do stir us up. I mean, how can we hear that first reading about lepers and how the community is meant to interact with them or not interact with them, and just feel, I don't know, just be overwhelmed with dread at at that, say, deadly prognosis. You almost hear it in the text, like as the skin disease develops, he's meant to be marked out and then cut off. And I think perhaps because we live in a time of awareness of contagion, we just, I don't know, we perhaps can intuit that burden more readily. And if we can, then I think we can also experience something of the desperation and the need, and what must have been this pursuit of Jesus by a man marked out already as a leper as he approaches Jesus with his skin disease, right? And it's too, I don't know, that's too light. It's too light to say skin disease even, right? Because the reality is that the leper, precisely because of the people's, I don't know, properly placed fear of his being contagious, is cut off in a way that perhaps we don't intuit too readily, and certainly when we call it a skin disease, you just think, well, just go to the dermatologist. You know, it's like it's not for us. It doesn't hold that same power over us. But yeah, to think of the leper's plight, he's cut off in two significant ways, related in a very deep way to who we are as human beings. We've experienced this as well. Yeah, and in one way, he's cut off from corporate worship. He's not allowed anywhere near the place, right? Whether that's, it's not really so much the synagogue as the temple. And of course, we know why he's not allowed there. Because there's just there's a crush of people there. So he's going to get everybody sick. Can't have that happen. But there's something symbolic in that as well, and it's more than symbolic. There's something that's there are implications of that as well. So the development of the strand of thought that would have lepers marked out also as sinful people, possibly contaminating others with their wayward attitude, right? Or their disobedience, likewise, is infectious. This is like, we can see how they're entangled. So they're cut off from corporate worship, but they're also cut off from the life of the community, because they They can't be in close proximity of anyone. They're a danger. They're a danger to other people. But you think about how drastic this is, how dreadful this is, in light of the fact that the human project that is given voice throughout all of Scripture, so from Genesis all the way through the end of the gospel, the human project is one of worship and of service, of mission. The human project is one of prayer and love. That's what human beings were made to do. And in this, say, doubly important way, this leper is cut off from what makes him truly human. Worship and praise of God, prayer, and love, mission, service. Leprosy is a dead-end street in that sense. Okay, so there are a million ways. Okay, Lord, you tell me. There are a million ways to preach this, but I want to kind of flip it around and come at it the other side, from what I'm used to anyway. So, inspiration or not, Lord, He's asked me to trust Him on this one. So this is what, and you could tell that I'm not always the most trustworthy. Okay, anyway, so this is what I think, because we see the leper is coming to Jesus with this great need, and what I want to say is, of course, he's carrying the burden of being cut off from prayer and love, from worship and service. So he knows his need. And usually I preach like a kind of generic, like, bring Jesus your need. But I want to do it in a little bit different way and say, what is preventing you from experiencing or living out the full vision of what it means to be a human being? So what is preventing you from giving your life to God in praise of Him? What's preventing you from making Him the very center and source of your life? Or maybe a bit more gentle is, we're all made to grow into the reality of our being made in the image and likeness of God. We're all made to grow into lives of worship and mission, or lives of prayer and love. So what is preventing you from growing into more deeply love of God and love of neighbor? What's holding you back? What's preventing you from the full-on experience of prayer and love? That's a real question. I'm asking you that question. I understand it's personal. But you were made for prayer and love. What of your life doesn't express that reality? What of your life needs to be put in the rearview mirror as it relates to that? What do you need? What do you need from Jesus to live the life that He's calling you to live? The leper knew what he needed. So he came before Jesus, he threw himself down at His feet, and he begged Him for it. Will we do the same? Can we do the same? I know part of this is probably related to the fact that I've been hearing confessions all day, right? So I hear in confessions, no, I'm not spilling the beans on anybody, okay? Forget about it. No. What I hear in confession is where people struggle to pray and love. That's it. Then what I offer is God's love, His own life of love, Jesus' own life, that in us expresses itself in prayer and love. It's very simple stuff. But we have to have the heart for it. We have to desire it. We have to desire it. We have to desire that in the same way that the leper desires his healing. Because that's what we're asking. That's what we're after. Everything else is a distraction. Everything else is a distraction. And today, I don't know, maybe this is why Jesus wants us to have this little chat tonight, is because Lent is coming. And we know that we can go deeper or farther or whatever it may be. But he's asking us to confront that reality. Yeah? Because he wants to draw us into his own life that is nothing other than prayer and love. And if we don't see that at first glance, maybe we want to go back and read this little passage and the little passage that comes right before it, because the little passage that comes right before it is Jesus going into a deserted place to pray. And it's connected then, right? Because he prays, and then he walks out into this scene with the leper, and even though he knows that it's going to cost him a heck of a lot to do it, for one, because he can't enter a town without being crushed by people, and two, because the wrong people are going to find out and persecute him voraciously from that point. Even though it's going to cost him a whole heck of a lot, he's going to cure that one man there, then and there. He'll suffer the cost for us too, because he so desperately wants to redeem us, to buy us back, to give us new life and new strength. He wants us to know his love. And he wants us to live up to the full potential that God has created us for, to live lives of great prayer and love. We can do it, my friends. Well, we can't. That's why we go to Jesus, because he can do, because he wills it. I do will it. He wills it. He wants to make it happen for us. And if we surrender ourselves to him, if we beg him for it, he certainly will.